Hello and welcome. Happy whatever day this is when you're watching. My name is Richard Rosen, Winnipeg's friendliest undertaker from Winnipeg, Manitoba, uh, president and owner of Richard Rosen Funeral Director Limited. This is our first Facebook Live event that we're pre-recording. Now that we're getting good at these sorts of things, it's been 11 episodes that we've put under our belt from since August 2020. And now we're moving things along a little bit more technologically advanced, a little bit more comfortable. And with us today, we have Betsy Ehrenberg, and she is the CEO and founder of Legacy Concierge. This company is part of the importance of getting your digital assets in order. So it's important to be able to understand what all this means. And somebody that we've worked with before is Sharon Hartung, and she is the editor. I was going to say the editor. She's not the editor. She's the author of Your Digital Undertaker, and she's going to be co-hosting and asking the questions of Betsy. So a couple of things. You know, it's for me as a funeral director, and I'm sure a lot of you can appreciate, it's tough to be me when people are wanting to talk, or they want to find a way to talk about their pre-planning, and it's an uncomfortable talking point sometimes. But what I find is talking about something that we do every day, which is dealing with technology, makes it a lot easier to start those discussions for a pre-planning, because digital assets now, every executor needs to be aware that they are also a digital executor. Their estates that they're going to be responsible for are no longer just about golf clubs and dishes. It's about the estate of all of the assets that your person is going to be that has in their home, and you're responsible for that. So collaborating with Sharon has been important. Meeting Betsy has been really an eye-opening experience. She's our first tech entrepreneur guest for the series now. And with that, I'm going to turn everything over to Sharon and lead us through the questions with Betsy. So Sharon, thank you very much for joining us and participating with another part of this really important topic.
Thanks so much, Richard. Absolutely delighted to have Betsy joining us today. Betsy and I have had a number of discussions over the last several years on digital assets, and Betsy graciously joined us 2 years ago at our STEP Spotlight events, which was fantastic. To set some context to the first set of questions, I'll be looking to understand where these online and tech solutions fit in the estate planning and estate administration life cycle. Betsy and I have talked about this. People often talk about technology and how wonderful it is, which it is often, but forget to mention which business process it's replacing, updating, or innovation. So we like to make sure we tease that part of the conversation out. So let's start off, Betsy. I want to tell us how you came to launch your company, and tell us a little bit about the Lock It service promise.
Thank you, Sharon. Everyone has a story about the company, and mine is probably very familiar to you. About 4 years ago, I got a message to wish Carol a happy birthday. The message came from Facebook, and actually was quite upsetting. Carol had passed, but no one had taken down her Facebook page. I called Facebook, spoke to 8 people, and Facebook took down her page. That would not happen today. I wondered if there were other accounts out there about Carol, and there were. I found that her email still worked and her LinkedIn page was still up. And after speaking with her husband about the situation, we agreed that someone should have taken these accounts down, but no one was appointed to do so. And why not? These accounts were digital assets, and there was no provision in Carol's will to appoint a person to handle her digital assets. No one was going to read her emails, and no one could get into her photos on her cell phone and inside her Gmail account. So, with permission and a collection of legal documents, I was able to work with Google and retrieve her email files and her photos, and then deliver the files to her husband. With the help of a research team, we learned how to retrieve and deliver digital assets of a deceased person to people who were left behind. In June of 2017, I founded Legacy Concierge to identify, retrieve, and deliver digital assets of a deceased or disabled person and secure them for family members and beneficiaries, for attorneys and executors of the estate.
Oh, that's fantastic, Betsy. I had heard that story, and it's a wonderful personal story, but it shows a little bit why you're so passionate about this when we talk about the topic. Turning to the second question, let's get under the covers. I want to hear about your solutions and offerings, and I know you've been evolving them. Let us understand how it works from a estate planning perspective versus an estate administration perspective. Who's your target clients or the market? And certainly, I'll ask, is this solution good for anyone globally in the US or Canada, or, or how does that work?
Well, our solution is a cloud-based service product for professional teams such as attorneys, financial planners, trust administrators, and additionally, for the same engagement, our product delivers services directly to family members. Let me share some details about how our service product works. There are 2 steps for every engagement. The first step is to identify the digital assets belonging to the decedent and associate each asset with a ticket. Essentially, we are creating a digital vault with an inventory of asset tickets, but we are only storing inventory information that will be needed to resolve the accounts. Then, upon request, we launch into step 2. Step 2, we use the ticket information and our technology to secure the digital assets of the decedent. We create an account roadmap using priorities that come from the executor as well as the wishes of family members. In some cases, the family wants to use contact information from emails to send notices about the death to a group of contacts. In other cases, the professional team requests that government agencies, passport offices, airlines are notified that the records they have on file belong to a person who has passed away. Under the direction of the executor, we request that accounts are closed, and in the case of airlines, that we are able to transfer the miles from the decedent to a named beneficiary. Since our market includes the family of the decedent and those professional teams who are or will be providing trust and estate administration, we support notification technology for both entities. Generally, post-death activities are split between 2 groups. The family is usually more concerned about shopping sites, passport offices, cell phone apps, airline miles, and social, while the professional teams are more interested in financial accounts, insurance policies, business ownership, real estate investments, and the like.
That's great. I know you gave a lot of emphasis there on the estate administration side. So let's just back up and talk a little bit about estate planning. So do you have financial planners that come to you and then bring their clients? Do clients come to you directly? So let's get a little bit into the estate planning side of it.
I'd be delighted to share that. During estate planning, we use technology to locate and organize a person's digital assets, and we build an electronic vault. The vault contains the person's profile, names of their professional team, copies of wills, trust documents, and business investment records, and most importantly, account numbers and the location of assets. The vault also contains a list of delegates who can access the contents of the vault when the person is living or after they have passed away. And these delegates have already agreed to provide that access upon death or disability. If the individual has begun getting organized in the past and already has an electronic vault in place, our technology can transfer information from an existing digital vault or set of files to our proprietary Lockit Legacy Vault. If the estate planner and their client has not started to get organized, then our technology can locate digital asset information from a variety of sources. Translated, that means we do not depend upon a person during their lifetime or their successor to sit at a screen and enter each and every account number for each digital and tangible asset. We only need to store specific data that will be needed to secure the assets after a person passes away. And we don't need to store passwords or user credentials with any asset record. During estate planning, we encourage the professional teams and their clients to recognize that most people under 75 have over 160 assets sitting on computers during their lifetime and at the time of their death. We provide educational materials for the estate planner, the trust administrator, and their clients, and include state-of-the-art details about digital asset protections and a roadmap for getting organized.
So if I get this right, if someone passes away and their executor or fiduciary needs to start from scratch, they can come to you and start from scratch.
That is absolutely the case. Sharon, that's really a great question and applies to about 70% of the population at time of death. If a person has not organized information about their digital and tangible assets while they were living, then our locket technology guides the executor or fiduciary through a straightforward process of identifying accounts belonging to the decedent. The technology we use is called AutoGrab, and it represents our proprietary discovery process to identify accounts belonging to the decedent. I'm not going to go into a lot of details now about how AutoGrab works, but I'm happy to supply them at a later time. However, in conjunction with AutoGrab, the executor or fiduciary can also use the online portal prompting the user for digital and tangible asset account information. Our application is user-driven, and the user, whether it is the beneficiary or the professional, can enter account information using the menu bar and entering that information in any order that pleases them. We've learned that specific information will be needed for the most important digital assets, such as bank accounts and insurance policies, government registrations and housing services, shopping sites, and social media. That specific information is available to the user when they are looking through the portal to our menu screen. However, if there is a unique category of information of digital assets for any client, such as a musical instrument collection, the executor can use the general category in the vault to describe this unique asset and upload documents such as spreadsheets that describe that asset. There is virtually no limit to the number of assets that can be registered for any user. At the time of death, executors use the decedent's cell phone to take an inventory of the apps holding information about the decedent. And note that the custodians must be notified of the user's death and will be requested to remove the decedent's name from their database. If there's an app like Uber on a phone, that means Uber has the user ID, it has the credit card number, and this is not information that should remain on Uber's site after a person passes away. Well, this brings me to a point that is overlooked by most estate planners and their clients. One of the most important pieces of information that may be needed after a person passes away is their cell phone PIN. The PIN opens the phone and will support multi-factor authentication and provide access to many, if not all, applications that need to be canceled on behalf of the decedent.
That's terrific. It's wonderful to know that you can help after the fact. But as you and I have always discussed, it's still important to plan because it is difficult to deal with significant digital assets after death, even though there are services like yours that are beginning to emerge. So with that, I think I'll close, Richard, and turn it back to you to help us close on part one of the questions.
Great, thank you, Sharon, and Betsy. Thank you very much for your concise and clear the clarity that you bring to this. You know, when I first started to hear about these things and how would I deal with this if I were an executive for somebody, when I started to hear about what you're doing and just hearing you speak about what your business does, I started to feel a sigh of relief. I could feel that heavy blanket, wet blanket on my shoulders coming off and going, oh, good, there's somebody here that can help, that can guide and make this a whole lot easier for everybody. So we'll now we'll wrap up. To Sharon, thank you very much for leading us through the questions here today. And for Betsy, again, thank you for sharing about Legacy Concierge. This is part one of two. So we hope that you've enjoyed this section. Attached to this video will be the links to Betsy's website, to Sharon's website, and to my funeral home website as well. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask them at any time, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. So with that, this is Richard Rosen, Winnipeg's friendliest undertaker, signing off. So just so that you're aware, the primary goal for what we've been doing with these digital information sessions is really to raise your level of awareness to the importance of considering all of your digital assets when you're doing your estate planning. We're not really providing advice, or this shouldn't really be a substitute for advice. You really need to talk to qualified professionals about within your jurisdiction, about your legal, your financial, and your digital assets. And we're really delving into a new area. It's a new area of technology. And we are mentioning vendors and services and providers of those services. And it's really just to illustrate various points, to make a point. So it's really not an endorsement either for any particular company that we're discussing or we're interviewing. It's really an opportunity for you to understand the various companies that are out there and to give you some informed choices so when you are making decisions that you can reach out to the right people.